What is up, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of this Making Lando Norris World Champion. We're here in Baku. If you follow my F1 2019 career mode episodes, you'll know that we really struggled around here in Formula 1 machinery. So hopefully, you never know, Formula 2 could be slightly different and hopefully a better Oman driving for Lando than ourselves. So our first run in qualifying, and he said Q1, which is weird. We're actually giving our teammate a tow on the just behind us, which is, you know, that's all good, well and good for him. We're going to come across the line and we're actually going to be P20. So far it's very reminiscent of the F1 2019 career mode aspect, but we go again, and for whatever reason it actually bugged out a little bit. We ended up actually going P2. We was going to go again for another go, but we absolutely just lose the car in the braking zone. We generally couldn't do anything, but we ended up spinning the car back around. But it was a bit more frustrating. You know, maybe had the pace to improve a little bit, and then we just absolutely cock up the we just cock up the spin. But there's nothing else we could do. We might as well retire from the session. But happy, you know, we're up there P3, not quite pole position like it was last time. So whoever's on pole will obviously get those extra little points. But you know, a lot better for ourselves than it was you know, last time round, seeing as the problem we had with the F1 cars was we just couldn't have any pace. Even with, you know, brand new stuff, we just really struggled. But, you know, it is what it is. End of the day, you can see we are currently P2 in the championship behind George Russell after a shocking sprint race in Bahrain. If you haven't seen that, please go check it out, and you can see how much of an idiot I am, making sure we have no tyres for the sprint race. This time around, actually acted like a normal human being and actually made sure we've got plenty of tyres for the sprint race, so we won't have to worry about that replicating itself. And we can actually crack on with what is the feature race, probably the most important out of the two, and look forward to see what we can do. So starting the grid for the Baku City Circuit race is Alexander Albon, P1, followed by George Russell, our teammate in P4. I've got a feeling he'll be there for a lot of the season. Gito's always up there. Artem Markov currently P8. Nothing really changed there. Latifi, quite down the order, which is quite surprising. Jack Aitken, again, he's also down the order. It's very surprising. No surprising that Sean Gallale's all the way down, as well as Nico Carey. But strategy this time actually looks normal. One-stop strategy. And even on the alternate strategy, it looks correct, if that makes sense. But we're ready for the 5 lights to go out here in Baku. Ready to see what we can do from P3. We are underway, and straight away, I've noticed with these F2 cars, you can't get a better start than the AI. It's physically impossible. It's like Assetto Corsa. But we have to fight with the AI. Our teammate Sergio Sette Camera does get ahead of us. He's going to defend the inside line, which is quite early on. So he'll be compromised for the exit here. And you can see we're already on the gearbox of young Sergio. So with any luck, we'll be able to get him into turn 3. There's no DRS at the moment, obviously. That comes from lap 3 onwards. We've got De Vries behind us, who's made some moves for sure. He's going to go to the inside line. I'm going to go very, very late around the outside. We just about keep it on track. And happy days, back up to P3 where we started. George Russell couldn't get past Alexander Albon at this stage. But moving on to lap 2, you can see there's a gap starting to form. You know, I believe our teammate had some damage on his front wing. I'm not sure how. It wasn't with us, but so he ended up dropping back massively and gave us a massive gap to De Vries, and then behind him, as you can see, there's a massive gap on the minimap. We actually went purple in on lap 2, so, you know, with any luck, we may be able to actually put some pressure on Russell. And here on lap 4, you can see we're purple in sector 1 as we start to hunt them both down. Albon not getting too far ahead of us at this point, so we're going to see what we can do. Moving on into the end of sector 2, can we make it purple here as well to try and get the fastest lap as well? And in fact we don't. We only go green, but you know, that's fine. We're purple in sector 1. Our best sector so far this race is sector 3. We've got so much more speed down the back straight, just for the pure fact of how low wings we have. It's very difficult to actually navigate through the last few quote-unquote corners because of our downforce levels, but we just absolutely steam past them. And later on you'll be able to see, if we come up against any cars, how fast we are in a straight line. I'm going to come across the line, and sure enough, it is. We actually gained 8/10 in that last sector alone, and we ended up taking about 6/10 off of George Russell in the last sector. So looking at the gap now, it is about 6/10. So we're going to see if that holds true coming down the back straight. We're in the slipstream straight away, and then it looks like we're going to overtake him before the DRS zone. Like, we've got such a good straight line speed. We almost go into the back of George. Luckily, we managed to just judge it correctly. No dramas there, but yeah, absolutely flew past him. He really had no opportunity in a straight line against us, and obviously, you know, when the DRS comes, it'll be interesting to see. But the speed difference was absolutely mental, and yeah, coming through here on lap 9, Maximilian Gunther is out of the Grand Prix. So far we've had one driver out of each session. He's actually parked it in a really weird place. Even though there was contact, but lap 9, we're coming into the pit lane now. You can see Albon also coming into the pit lane. We're going to take this nice and aggressive, try and close the gap to Albon and see if there's a chance we can jump him into the pits. We nailed that to absolute perfection. I don't think I'm ever going to get a better one than that. You know, maybe minus 1 mile an hour, but that's whatever. Our pit box is just ahead of his, so if we can get a good stop from the boys, then we can be out ahead of him. We put on the soft compound tyre for the weekend, and we're going to go and nearly actually hold him because they see that we was being released. So Albon has lost out massively in the pit stop phase, and you know, George Russell stayed out, so it looks like we have a net P1 here, which could be quite good. We're purple in sector 2. The car's a lot more lively this time now. It's really, really fast in a straight line, but on these tyres it's a bit more difficult to warm them up, you know, no tyre blankets and all that. We got Narei Fukuzumi and I believe De Vries in the pit lane, as well as George Russell, so we could take the race lead here and potentially, crossing our fingers here, we could get our first race win of the season. Yep, Norris goes through, which is us. Albon also goes through, as well as George Russell. De Vries stays in 4th place, so Fukuzumi he's been jumped by, I believe, Latifi as well, so all's good for Dams. Currently we're struggling a little bit compared to Alexander Albon, but you know, we just need to get our head down and pop in a fastest lap, which will obviously help us in terms of points. But he's not too far behind. Our teammate Sergio Setacama is only now in the pit lane, and we're nearly halfway through the circuit, which is absolutely mental. He's so far off the pace. Obviously, you have that damage, but nearly 6/10 up in sector 1 on the super soft tyre. Obviously, you know, got a lot more performance. It's 2 steps softer than the tyres we was running on. So it's gonna be interesting to see. We absolutely just ignore that. You didn't see anything, I promise. Coming into the castle section now, having to really wrestle the car through here, just to try and keep it on track and actually make sure, you know, we get some good traction and stuff like that. But Albon is keeping with us. But again, in the last sector, we'll just pull away and just get that gap we need to, so there won't be any threat of him trying to overtake us down the back straight, and you know, maybe having like a last lap lunge. That's the last thing we need, and it's definitely not something that we have to do here. But coming into the last sector, you can see on the right hand side it's going to be green again, so we are losing a little bit of time in the middle sector, although we obviously kind of we cut that corner before the castle section. Still not perfect, you know, we still haven't done a lot better, but you can see just that shot alone how far behind Albon is compared to ourselves. He's in absolutely no man's land. He probably will have DRS just due to you know, where the detection point is and all that, but we don't care about that. We're looking for the fastest lap, and sure enough we get it at 1:54.8. happy days, and that'll be ours. We go incredibly wide on the exit though. We get a little bit sideways. This could give Albon an opportunity here into turn 2. No, he thinks better of it. We go deep again in turn 2. He's going to have a fantastic run here, and we're going to have to be careful into turn 3 because Albon might fancy himself a move. We're going to move to the left hand side as we watch Albon, see what he does. Sure, yep, he's going to go to the outside. That's fine with us. We can hold the inside line as best we can. We're going to go in side by side, so tight through this section. We give him plenty of room, and we actually managed to hold on to P1. We're in, you know, it's touch and go, really, absolutely touch and go. But you can see George Russell by this point, or the end of the race, George Russell has actually caught up to us, and I'll be interested to see how he's going to do. But what we did put a bit of a gap, but we slowed down so Albon could get DRS, so he could you know, actually keep up ahead of George Russell, because you know George Russell will be our main rival. And I think you'll see here we slow down just a little bit, foot off the accelerator, just to make sure Albon gets a bit of our slipstream, just to put him over the line, because I think without that George Russell would have got him. So a little bit of tactical already so far at the beginning of the season, but we do get our first race win here for Carlin Motorsport. Happy days, and we've got the exact amount of wins so far that Lando actually achieved in his Formula 2 season. So if we can best it, then even more power to us, and then we can actually get more of a fight for this championship. And if we can win it as Lando, then we can move on to F1 as an F2 champion. Matt Gallagher still in the Carlin Motorsport team, this time missing Ben, which is quite interesting. But another man who struggled, Artem Markelov, didn't gain any positions, but he doesn't care. You know, he's in P8. He's going to get a reverse grid pole again for the second time. I've got a feeling Markelov will be on a reverse grid pole for quite a few times. But we'll have to see how that plays out tomorrow when he has the potential to win the race. But there we are. Big Lando Norris, or in this case, little Lando, on top of the podium for his first race win of the season. George there looking very happy, although I'm sure he'd love it to be second place. Although we kind of stuffed him out of second place there, giving Alexander Albon a little bit of a tow down the back straight. But that's basically been it for the feature race. We've got the sprint race coming up next in this series. It's going to be very fun because obviously we're starting a little bit further down the back. And obviously we've got good pace around here, so it'll be interesting to see what we can do. Looking at the fastest lap difference, about 5/10 difference between ourselves and the fastest lap. You can see it's like less than a tenth between Russell and Albon, so that tow definitely did help. But that's been it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please slap a like on it. If you're new around here, please subscribe for Formula 1 content every other day. That's been it for me, guys. Take care. Bye bye.